Once back in the house, select the mother, Mayna, to journey through her part of the dungeon and collect the next crown. With her, we're going to be using the crossbow, which is her ability to break blocks, the wings, and the spring shoes. During Mayna's part of the dungeon is where I'm going to be doing the grinding in order to get the keys that I need to complete most of the rest of the game. You need quite a lot of keys, and as you can see, I really don't have too many at the moment. There's some areas where you're going to be using up to 15 keys in a row just to get past a small area of a room. At this point in the game, if you have a lot of extra gold, you actually need 95. It may be a good idea to get the shield item. The shield isn't necessary, so I'm not actually going to grab it, but it will greatly help you in boss battles, so I highly recommend it, especially on your first time playing through the game. The shield item is actually located not too far from where we're going to be going as Mayna. In the big portrait room, we're going to be working our way over to the left and going down the lower left ladder. Down here, you're going to fall down several screens. If you work your way over to the right in that previous room, those blocks right there, inside those is the hidden shop item where the shield is located. Go down this ladder as you're going to be going through several screens here. Once you reach the bottom, go to the left and work your way up the ladder and get onto the spike wall. Remember, hold up on the D-pad so you actually don't take any damage. Up here, use a few keys in order to get through locks, and then you'll have a couple more that you'll have to go through. You could really call Mayna's part of the dungeon the real locked area of the dungeon. There's tons of different locks to get through during the course of her area. Here, just walk over a few steps and break the bottom block so that you can fall down to the next screen. Once you make it through this room, this is the room where we're going to be grinding to get all the keys that we're going to be needing. Here you're going to either use the wings or jump throughout the different rocks to get over to this big open area. This is the area where we're going to be grinding for keys. There's a good amount of enemies here and it's pretty easy to navigate, so when you destroy one enemy, only a couple seconds later another one should respawn. At any point if you run out of magic, you can actually get magic from a chest located over to the right of that rock. Once you have enough keys, as you can see I have over 60 keys right now. That's about how many you're going to be needing for the rest of the game. It's going to be a while before you're actually able to get that many, but trust me, it's worth it so that you don't have to worry about keys any longer throughout the game. In this area, get on top of the wall, then drop down. Go over to the left of the entrance and you'll actually see a bunch of blocks that you can start breaking. You have to work your way through this large maze of rocks, using the wings if you need to in order to get yourself up different platforms. Your goal is to get over to the far left area so that you can start heading down and get to the rocks at the bottom. Once you get down to the bottom though, de-equip your wings because it uses a lot of magic up. Over here is the first time we're going to be using a lot of keys really quickly. Use the wings in order to get up and then start walking through all these different locked doors. In this room is located another one of those chests that has a large amount of keys. So even though we do have a lot of keys right now, we're going to need that much more in order to get to the next couple of areas. Go over to the right, breaking open the rocks so it'll start bouncing across. Then equip the wings so that you can walk over the spikes. Over here you'll see a chest, as well as right now there's a piece of bread over it as well. Grab that chest and you'll get a large amount of keys, as we're now back up to 60 keys. Over here, break all but the last two of the locks, then jump up and get up to this area. Walk through over to the left so that you can break these 3 locks to get over. Drop all the way down and then work your way through another brick maze in order to get up to the ladder at the top. Here, we're going to have to use the crossbow item to get the ball to start bouncing back and forth across the wall. Then we can use it in order to get up and get to this hole in the wall. Jump your way through the columns to get over to the left to get to the next room. Then jump up to get up here. Work your way through the long and winding corridor to get to the ladder in the upper right corner. Just be sure during this part that you actually have to use the wings in order to walk your way over the spikes, because you actually can't jump on top of the spikes without it. The next room is pretty much more of the same, just going to be working your way through a large labyrinth, getting your way now from the top to the bottom part of the screen. Once down here, stop by the inn so that we can replenish our magic and life. Re-equip the magic wings and go over to the ladder on the far left. This can be a little bit tricky, as you actually have to hold the A button, the jump button, and up when you go down this ladder so you actually be able to move the rock at the bottom of this part. Once you move the rock over and it stops bouncing, you're actually able to unlock the doors. Bounce it again and then continue unlocking doors once it stops. It may take 2 or 3 bounces in order to get through the little area. You can see this is the room that the crown's located in, and it's the reason why you need so many keys. Even though we did just stop by an inn, I highly recommend refilling your life once again, especially if you do not have the shield with you. There's some invisible enemies that are really hard to see, and as well as you won't be able to hit them from certain areas. You'll actually have to end up walking through the block that they're on in order to get through. There's one located amongst these locked doors as well, but it's hard to see until you unlock it. Once it's unlocked, run back and then attack him. Hopefully he leaves behind some bread so that you can refill some of the health you just lost. Once over to the left here, drop down the ladder and get the chest, which is the location of the 3rd crown. The 3rd boss is very difficult. His projectiles will hurt you a ton, but you can use your magic to deflect them or use the shield to stop them from hurting you. Stand near the bottom of the screen and fire upwards towards the dragon, then walk along with him constantly firing to deal a lot of damage quickly. These boss battles go by very fast, but you can also see that your health goes down very quickly, so that's the reason why they're so hard to get through. Once he's been defeated, we're back outside, we go to the house, and it's time to hunt down the 4th and final one of the crown. So we switch over to Zem, the father of the family. Zem, like Pochi, does not have much of a jump, but he has a pretty powerful attack. His main objects that we're going to be using are the glove, as well as the spiked shoes again. The glove is his main gimmick to the whole game. He uses it to move blocks over one space at a time. Either by jumping on them, walking into them, there's different ways that he can move them, but you have to get used to this in order to get through his area. To start off, head back to about where the portrait is. Instead of going all the way down, instead, jump up to the top left by using one of the enemies in order to boost yourself up. Inside the shop, we're going to be buying the magic key. Zem's part of the dungeon is in the upper left corner of the portrait room. This is where we start to get used to the whole block moving, as you have to move this block over by jumping up into it while also holding the right so that you can move it over to the right instead of taking over the spot to the left so it would stop you from being able to get up. It's going to take a little bit to get used to the whole block motion, as you have to move this block up 2 spaces and then up into the right corner so it's out of the way. Jump over here to the right in order